Last year, a customer of James Hardens' restaurant ran a red light while intoxicated and killed 7 people. Family members of one of the victims have filed a lawsuit against James Hardens' restaurant, and they're claiming that James Hardens' restaurant overserved the drunk driver. In Texas, you can bring a claim against a bar or a restaurant for overserving someone. In order to win that dram shop case, you have to prove that alcohol was served, that the person was obviously intoxicated when they were served alcohol, and that the alcohol that was served at that restaurant was a proximate cause of that driver getting into the accident. Now, those are the 3 main elements, but if that restaurant has had all of its employees who serve alcohol go through a Texas-approved training program, they can have protection under the safe harbor. And so if that employee who served that drunk driver had gone through that education, then the family has to go through another step of proving that the restaurant promoted unsafe practices, that it did something to promote its employees to overserve. And that's not necessarily an easy thing to prove. But if the family can prove all those things, then they will have a valid claim against James Hardens' restaurant. Then the next step is a jury would have to decide how much blame do you put on the drunk driver for driving intoxicated versus the restaurant if they overserved them. And a jury would have to apportion fault and has to add up to 100%. So they could put 100 on the drunk driver. They could put 90 on the drunk driver, 10 on the restaurant. They could put 90 on the restaurant, 10 on the driver. That's something that a jury would have to decide based upon the specific facts of that case. All that to say that it's an easy case against the drunk driver for running the red light and being intoxicated based upon the information that's out there versus the restaurant. The restaurant is a difficult case to prove. Not necessarily impossible. A jury could find in favor of the family against the restaurant, but there are several hurdles that have to be overcome. Now, obviously, the family will pursue the restaurant because it's got a deep pocket. Most people who have insurance, which is 80% of people in Texas, most of them only have a minimum policy, which is $30,000, which is nothing compared to the loss that this family has suffered. Whereas a restaurant has much deeper pockets, which is why you bring a dram shop case. Likely, the case will settle. 97% of cases that are filed do settle nationwide. There's no reason to believe that this case isn't one of those. But if it doesn't settle, it's in the 3%, then we'll probably hear about the verdict from a Texas courthouse.